Hi, I'm Pete, or Peter Cowell, and welcome to Pete's Point of View. This is my podcast channel, and I have something for you. It's not a normal podcast. This is almost an ad or a business proposal, if you will. My co-writer and I, Rick, we have developed 3 books ready for publication. Okay, they are 2 non-fiction and 1 fiction. The 2 non-fictions are Abolishing the One China Policy to Prevent War. The other one is Asymmetric Industrial Relations Theory. Yeah, it was a mouthful, I know. And the third, which is the fiction one, it's actually a novel, a romance novel entitled Latin Fire. Now, we'll talk a little bit about each of those 3 in a second. The intention of this video, though, is to invite you to get involved. My email address is attached. In fact, it'll be just up here for you. So just email me at that address and we can have a chat. What we're looking for is just a small investment to help bridge the gap, living costs, etc., as I can't work in the country I'm currently in. It's not legal for me to do, so I can only work on my books, etc., while I'm here, and otherwise play tourist. Very important thing to do. But we do need some financial assistance while we're going through the process. It takes a couple of months before income comes back from royalties from Google Kindle, which is where we're going to be uploading the 3 books initially. We will go to hard copy as well at a later stage, and we'll go on to other platforms. There are several ebook platforms on the internet that you can download these books from. The thing is this: the royalty income from this will carry on for the rest of my life and at least 70 years after my passing, which means you, as a 1/3 partner, so that's Rick for a third, myself for a third, and you as the financier for just covering us for living for the next couple of months, you get a full 1/3 of the royalties as well. And it is bequeathable, which means on your passing, we all do that eventually, but on your passing, you'll be able to bequeath your ongoing royalty income to your estate. Okay, that's not legal advice. That's nothing like that. That's just a statement of fact. That's how it works for royalties and copyright on books. Okay, so give me a yell at this email address. Here it is again. All right, and let's have a talk about it. Now, first of all, let's talk about these 3 books and what they're about. Okay, the first one, Abolishing the One China Policy to Prevent War. Well, it's almost self-explanatory. We all know about the One China Policy, which was established by Nixon back in 1972 when he negotiated with China for them to cease hostilities and for them to stop expanding around the globe, to stop this military expansionist activities. So they agreed to cease that in return for admission to things like the World Trade Organization and for greater trade between the United States and China. And of course, they did that. And that worked for a very long time. However, under the current Chinese leadership, we've seen the creation of artificial islands in the South China Seas and their annexation of that area illegally. They don't see it that way, but of course, who does? What criminal, when they break into your house, sees themselves as the criminal? They see themselves as the victim if they get hurt in the process. I'm sorry, but that seems to be what's happening here. So with China at the moment under current leadership, they've been expanding dramatically and seized the entire South China Seas unlawfully. All right, the thing is this: they've also shown a disregard for their agreements that they had in place with regard to Hong Kong, and now, of course, threatening Taiwan yet again. Okay, this has been going on for 70 years, but now they are absolutely determined, and they make the open declaration that they intend to, well, they say, reunify Taiwan with mainland China. The reality is they were never part of mainland China under the communist government that exists today. The government that used to be the lawful government of mainland China fled to the island of Formosa and established Taiwan as a, well, not as a nation, the Republic of China. It was the official name for the nation that resides in Taiwan. We all call them Taiwan. But the thing is this, China's determined to take them by force if they don't capitulate and reunify. So the best way to handle this is potentially for us to throw out the one China policy. They've already broken that agreement. Why we're sticking to it is anybody's guess. I suspect it has a lot to do with cowardice, to be quite frank. But you can't take on an enemy by ignoring their actions. You cannot deal with a schoolyard bully without challenging them, without doing something about it. If you capitulate to a schoolyard bully, the bullying continues. It's a self-perpetuating problem. Cannot allow that to happen. World War III will break out as a result of China's attack on Taiwan, which will happen because we cannot see them capitulating. If that's the case, we all end up in a world of hurt. The best way to deal with it is for us to stop the one China policy. Maybe that might bring the chickens home to roost, shall we say, for the Chinese presidency and force the Communist Party to maybe relieve Xi Jinping of his power because of the embarrassment. The point is, we have to stop the one China policy, and the rest of the world needs to get behind Taiwan, recognise them formally, and tell China that's a result of the South China Sea's annexation and their constant threats against Taiwan and against everybody else as a result. We can't take that anymore. The only way to prevent a war is to stand up and stand together and say, we back Taiwan. You attack Taiwan, you attack us all. That can't be tolerated. The thing is, it becomes untenable. They cannot, therefore, attack them. That's a possible way. And this is what this particular book addresses, okay? Anyway, so that's that one. The other ones, of course, are the asymmetric industrial relations theory, which deals with workplace bullying, basically, and how the small person, the worker, can actually beat a large corporate giant if that corporate giant's board are ignoring workplace bullying within their organisation. Now, it is a fact that every company has policies about workplace bullying. They do that all the time. That's great, but they don't follow them. They're only so they can say, we don't allow it, but they encourage bullying in their managerial practices. That's got to stop. This book talks about how we can apply asymmetric warfare theory in a non-violent fashion to take corporate boards down a few pegs, make them accountable, make them liable for workplace bullying incidents. There's ways and means of doing that. This book goes into that. The third book, Latin Fire, is a romance novel. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of that storyline, but it all centres around Latin American music, holidays, dancing, especially Latin American dancing, salsa, etc. This book, if it was to be a movie, and maybe it will be one day, but if it was to be a movie, it would be kind of like a cross between Pretty Woman, so I'll say that slower, Pretty Woman, Cocktail, and Strictly Ballroom, okay? That's kind of what it is. There's a lot of Latin American culture in it. There's salsa dancing, there's fun. It's a great, great story. These 3 books are going to be being published very shortly. This is an opportunity to get involved, okay? Give me a yell on this email address, all right? Take care. And by the way, have a very Merry Christmas.